Want me to go? All right. My big crowd.
Yeah. All you can do is offer.
That's right. So, well, I want to say good morning to you. Thank you so much to the foundation board for inviting me to come do this presentation on legacy giving. And I'm glad to have been in worship with you this morning. And I bring you greetings today from the Southeastern Minnesota Synod and Bishop Regina Hassanally, as well as presiding Bishop Elizabeth Eaton at the churchwide organization. So those of you who I haven't met, my name is Tharan Leopold, and I serve this synod and this congregation as your gift planner. So first, before I do begin, I like to just put a disclaimer out there that all examples and information provided this morning are for illustrative and educational purposes only. I do not render legal, financial planning, or tax advice, but what I do as a gift planner, however, as well as my 22 colleagues across the United States, is to work with members of ELCA congregations to discern the ways in which God has blessed you and how you can leave a lasting impact to the ministries and organizations that you care about. The ones that are important to you. And that can include this congregation, the St. John's Foundation, and it can include a number of other entities, which I'm going to talk about here later in my presentation this morning. And so we have a number of gift-giving vehicles available through the ELCA Foundation that members of the congregation can utilize to make a lasting impact to the organizations that they like and that they love. And I'll be talking about those shortly here as we go on. So just a little bit about me so you know who I am. I've worked in nonprofits for the past 14 years, mostly in fundraising and administrative roles. I work from my home office in Faribault, and I am a member of First English Lutheran Church, an ELCA congregation, and I serve on the Stewardship Committee there as well. And I am your regional gift planner, serving this synod to work collaboratively with you. My mic, I think, is kind of cutting in and out there a little bit. There is no cost to you, to this congregation, to members of this congregation for my services. We as gift planners are strictly salaried employees. So any of the work that we do with members is to benefit your ministry. And so please know that. I'm also a certified estate and trust specialist designation, which means that I've done coursework in terms of trusts and wills and all of that good stuff that goes along with that. And then just my email address there. So you know a little bit about who I am. Stewardship. There's no doubt about it that we as Lutherans are very generous individuals. As faithful stewards, we are also financial disciples. We are stewards of all the resources that God has entrusted to us throughout our lifetime. And when I was here about a month ago, perhaps you recall Pastor Cheryl's sermon at that time, and she was talking in that sermon about abundance and how we have all received much in our lives and that we have plenty of abundance in our lives. And in what ways do you view the financial gifts that God has given you? I always like to say it starts with the heart. Questions to ponder. Do you lead your life with a spirit of generosity and abundance? And in what ways do you feel blessed? And in what ways do you carry out those blessings and how you have received those blessings? I know that I personally can reflect on the many blessings that I've received throughout my life and the abundance and generosity that has been given to me throughout my life. and the ways that I want to make sure that I have left a lasting legacy and impact when I go to my heavenly home. So if you can see it okay there, but when we think about legacies and what legacies are, and all the blessings that we receive during our lifetime, you might want to think about how you can leave a lasting impact. So let's take a minute and think about what a legacy is. Legacies are footprints that we leave behind after we die. They prove that we are here, that we were here, we lived, we mattered, we made a difference. So questions that often come up in legacy is, what do I want to be remembered for? What difference have I made? How have I touched lives? How have I formed lives? And how have I changed lives? So in these few minutes today that we're having this discussion, I'm going to briefly go over some things to think about with regards to your plans for your legacy. There are many different ways to plan for legacy gifts, and everyone's needs are different with regards to this. So, do you have a clear picture of what assets you have, and have you thought about how you wish to leave those special gifts to the people in your life? Have you decided when you want to give? It may make sense now to give some personal property and certain financial assets then at the end of your life. Do you know how to give? And this might seem a little bit funny and strange in a way, but many people don't often realize that there are strategies and tools available to them to make gift giving more effective and more efficient. Have you determined how much to give? Warren Buffett has famously told his children that he has provided for them through his will. He is giving his children and grandchildren enough so that they can do anything they want, but not so much that they don't have to do something. So have you discussed your giving philosophy and your strategy with your family and other beneficiaries of your assets? Generally speaking, there's three pillars when it comes to stewardship and financial stewardship, and what I like to call a balanced stewardship approach. When you think about it, we typically look to our checking accounts to make small, regular gifts, which includes our weekly gifts to our congregation, our monthly gifts maybe to our favorite ministry, or an annual gift to a favorite charity or cause that we like. So we use our checking accounts. Money comes in, we give a gift from that income that we receive. Money goes out of our checking accounts. Then when special appeals come from congregational, synodical, churchwide, or from other agencies and institutions, we look to our investments and savings accounts for those larger, what I refer to as special gifts. In many regards, this might be referred to as a major gift, where you are fulfilling a pledge over several years. So this could be a congregation is constructing a new building, or repairing the bell tower, or doing some kind of special gift, a capital campaign. So you're looking to some of your larger assets to make a larger gift over an extended period of time. And when we consider all the blessings we have received and we think about the ministries that have been special to us throughout our lives, we turn to our estates to consider how we can make a difference even after we are called to our heavenly home. This is what my work focuses on, is this third wheel of stewardship. And so collaboratively working together with you to think about ways you can support St. John's through this third pillar, legacy gifts, also commonly referred to as planned gifts. So when it comes to legacy giving, generally speaking, we as gift planners, on average, see individuals and couples who have named anywhere from 3 to 5 beneficiaries. Obviously, this can be plus or minus. Some individuals and couples I work with might have 9 or 10 beneficiaries. Some might just have a single beneficiary or 1 or 2. But on average, we see 3 to 5 beneficiaries that are named in a gift plan. So let's take a deeper dive into the ministries and charities the donor might consider in their planned giving intent. So obviously we always want to, as gift planners, we always take family members into consideration. We want that to be part of your gift plan. You know, how many children, grandchildren do you have, and what's your intent to leave a legacy gift for them? But then when we start to think about all the other different ways, of course, the Southeastern Minnesota Synod could be a possibility. Obviously, this congregation and this congregation's foundation. College or university, your alma mater might be a consideration in your estate plan as well. If you went to St. Olaf or Luther Seminary or somewhere, that could be part of your planned gift. Camps such as our camp here in this synod, Good Earth Village, church-wide initiatives such as World Hunger or disaster response. Campus ministries, we've got Crossroads in Mankato, and we've got the Lutheran Campus Center in Winona. A favorite 501c3 nonprofit, it doesn't necessarily have to be an ELCA-related entity. It could be a local food shelf, or the Salvation Army, or the American Red Cross. Social services, such as Lutheran Social Services of Minnesota, or Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services, LIRS. And then finally, what we saw here today, women of the ELCA, as well as Lutheran Men in Mission. These are all just a sampling. Of course, the list can go on and on and on. There's a number of great organizations out there and great ministries and causes. But I wanted to kind of give you just a little bit of sampling of the different things that you could envision. So I grew up on a farm in southwestern Minnesota. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, and my father were all farmers. I did not go into that profession. But as a farmer, you probably know that they have many tools that are available to them. They have to have tools available to them to fix things. And each tool has a specific task. A hammer, wrench, a screwdriver all have a specific purpose. So you'd probably have a hard time pounding something if you were using a screwdriver. It probably could be done. It wouldn't be the most effective or efficient tool to pound something in. So now that we've talked about what a legacy is and thought more about the assets God has entrusted to you, let's explore some of those tools available to you as a member of this congregation. A planned gift takes into consideration what a donor's goals are, their faith journey, and what they want to be remembered for, and what their asset portfolio entails. Based on these criteria, we can work together to determine the best asset using the best gift instrument to leave family members and the ministries you care about. So like I said, there are many ways to leave a gift to your loved ones and to the ministries through your estate. Even a modest estate can benefit from a congregation's mission endowment fund while still providing for loved ones. So in this illustration here, you know, we talk, when I'm talking with members of ELCA congregations, I'm talking about what their legacy looks like. What are their goals? What's been their faith journey? What kind of assets do they own? And then based in the middle there is your planned gift, and those are the number of tools that are available through the ELCA Foundation that can benefit this congregation. And then so the planned gift then goes out to the people you love, as well as the ministries that you care about. So in the interest of time, I'm going to highlight two gift-giving tools that give twice, okay? So again, every donor is different and not every tool may be the most appropriate. And I know that's hard to read probably from where you're sitting. But the first one is a charitable gift annuity. And a charitable gift annuity is essentially a contract between you and the ELCA Foundation. In exchange for making a gift to benefit any ministry, any ELCA ministry, such as St. John's Foundation or St. John's, you as the donor then receive regular, they can be quarterly, semi-annual, or annual, fixed payments for the rest of your lifetime, and if you desire, for the lifetime of your spouse or another person. So your ministry of choice then receives the remainder of your gift. You receive a tax deduction at the time the charitable gift annuity is established, and a portion of each payment is tax-free in most cases. So you can see up there, we call it a CGA for short, charitable gift annuity, is right for you if you are able to make a gift of $10,000 or more to establish it. If you are 65 or older, you can do a charitable gift annuity at 55. That's called a deferred gift annuity. So you are deferring payments until a later point in time. And then you want to ensure a steady stream of income during your lifetime. So many folks like to ensure that they're having a stream of income coming in during their lifetime. They might say, well, I'm not exactly sure what my future might look like in terms of medical expenses or other living expenses. So I know my goal is I want to have a steady stream of income. But in exchange for that too, at the end of my life, those beneficiaries I've named in the CGA application are going to receive the remainder of what's remaining on that charitable gift annuity. So that's a great tool if you're looking for a steady income stream. The other one that I want to highlight is a charitable remainder trust. And a charitable remainder trust is an irrevocable trust designed to generate income. So it's very somewhat similar to a charitable gift annuity for you or for loved ones for a defined period of time, with the remainder of the donated assets going to the ministries of your choice. So you might choose to fund your CRT during your lifetime with an appreciated asset such as a home, land, securities to provide lifetime income for you and potential income for your heirs. Typically, a charitable remainder trust will be anywhere from 15 to 20 years in length. So you can do a charitable remainder trust up to 20 years in length. But it's providing a steady income stream, again, for you and for the loved ones that you might want to name on that. You can also establish a testamentary trust funded through your estate plan to provide income to your heirs over time and avoid financial risks associated with windfall inheritances. So that's good to know. So a charitable remainder trust is right for you if you have, or you're able to make a gift of $100,000. You want to ensure that your bequest to family is distributed over time and can fund your CRT during your lifetime or upon your death. So it can be done now, or it can be done, like I said, upon your death. So many donors really like this option because they might want their children to receive something, but they don't want them to receive a windfall inheritance, all of it all at once, and then they go out and maybe they spend it all at once. They're getting money over a course of time, and like I said, typically 15 to 20 years in length. There is the reverse of this, and that is called a charitable lead trust. So it's kind of the inverse, the opposite of it, in that the charity first gets the money for a specified period of time. So the charity of choice might get that money for 15 to 20 years. And then at the end of that time, then it goes to the named family members in the trust. So the first one that I talked about is a CGA. That one is a contract between the donor and the ELCA Foundation. The second one here is a charitable remainder trust. That is a legal instrument. It is a trust that you are establishing. So what will be your legacy to St. John's and the St. John's Foundation? Over the years, this congregation, your synod, and the ELCA have accomplished much, but there's still always much work to be done. And this work requires a plan, which I hope is your plan. So my hope is our conversation this morning spurred some ideas and thoughts on what your legacy to St. John's Lutheran Church will look like. I have set aside 2 dates, December 8th and December 14th on my calendar, specifically to meet with members of this congregation. This can be something as simple as reviewing something already that you have established through a will, a trust, a beneficiary designation, and reviewing those with you. Or it could be something more detailed. So, if there were a tool that you wanted to explore more in depth, like a charitable remainder trust or a charitable gift annuity, those are things that we could additionally discuss. And like I said, I always like to learn what your goals are with your in terms of your legacy gift. So that gives me a better idea then to determine what tool specifically will work best for you. And I always like to talk about legacy plan giving on a continuum, right? So really on one end of the spectrum, we have what I would call more simple ways to leave a legacy gift, and those are the ones that I talked about, and the most common ones that we often see. And those are people naming certain entities in their will, their trust, or through a beneficiary designation on a life insurance policy, or a beneficiary designation on a retirement plan. But then, like I said, on that continuum, again, is the different tools, and it really just depends on how complex your estate is and what tool, again, you want to utilize in reaching your goal. So those 2 dates I've set aside. You can, reach out to me via email. And my email is tharan.leopold@elca.org. The conversations that we have are confidential, so I do want you to know that. But we do discuss faith, family, ministries that you care about, charities that you care about, and that are important to you. I should note that when you make a planned gift commitment to any ministry of the ELCA, you become a member of the Legacy Society of the ELCA. So if you make a planned gift to this congregation's foundation, you do become a member of the Legacy Society of the ELCA. So I would like to welcome you to that society through our discussion if you have something already established. And I would welcome that conversation to talk with you more about that. So it's my contact information on the screen, and I hope that this conversation has been beneficial to you this morning in talking more about legacy gifts. I don't know if anybody had any questions that they wanted to ask me.
Well, if you gave money, like pre-tax dollars, and you haven't taken it out yet, if you put it into one of those two that you suggested,
Mm-hmm.
I know you're not a tax person, but how does that generally work tax-wise if you're giving that
So are you specifically talking about like a RMD, a required minimum distribution, or not necessarily?
A what?
So typically when you turn 70, it used to be 70 and a half, now it's 72, you have to take your required minimum distribution out of your retirement plan. So is that what you were referring to, kind of, Cheryl, or not necessarily?
No, I worked for, the police department, we had deferred comp, and so.
Okay.
457, I think is what.
Yeah.
And so I have money in that, but if I take some of that money and designate it to, legacy giving, whatever, do I get hit with taxes when I all of a sudden give that money to them, or does?
You might. And that's where I say you should check with your tax advisor, because you might. A thing to maybe explore is, do you have the option to name a beneficiary as part of that? I'm guessing you do, right? So you could, if you wanted to use that asset to make a planned gift, you might be better off naming a beneficiary or beneficiaries of that specific plan, and that can serve as your planned gift. But what many donors might do then, if they get to the age of 72, they have to start taking an RMD, right? And so they go, well, I don't necessarily need this income, right? I have enough through Social Security, through my retirement plan, maybe, so I have enough income coming in on a monthly basis that I don't really necessarily need this RMD money. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it into a charitable gift annuity, for instance, that will create a steady income stream for me, but yet too, at the same time, it's going to benefit a charity or organization upon my death.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that work? So let's say I designate a group upon my death gets that amount of money and it's still pre-tax dollars. Does that still come back on my estate?
I don't know that it would come back on your estate, because it's a gift to a qualified 501c3. Your estate probably wouldn't have any impact on that. It's kind of, similar to like too, in terms of if you have stock and you have appreciated stock. So some folks like have held stock for a long period of time and it's appreciated over the years. They can give the gift of stock to a qualified 501c3 nonprofit and not have any capital gains tax on that stock, because they're gifting it to the charity. So it's not impacting them, it's going straight to the charity. Good questions. And even like pastors, have Portico as their retirement plan. So there are pastors who I've worked with who will name, a beneficiary of their Portico plan. So whoever they've got. So for instance, like I have Portico myself, and I can designate Ministries and Charities as beneficiaries of that specific plan. Same thing with life insurance. That is one way that I have a planned gift established, is through my life insurance policy. I know that, my wife and I have a life insurance policy that I know if something were to happen to me, will take care of her and my kids. I know that she will be taken care of, but then I also have my life insurance policy as well through the ELCA, through my employer. And so I have her named as a portion of that life insurance policy, but then I also have other Ministries and Charities named as beneficiaries of that policy as well. So I always say, life insurance is a great tool to gift your family because it does often go tax-free or should go tax-free to your family or whoever you've named. But it also can be a great tool as well if you feel that you've got enough coverage to support those you want to support. It can also be a great tool to name other ministries and charities as well. Other questions? If you don't, that's okay.
What really is a trust?
A trust typically is a legal document, a legal entity that you place your assets into. So that's essentially what a trust is. There are different types of trusts. So there's like a special needs trust. If you had a kid who had special needs, disabilities, that would be the most appropriate trust for that specific situation. Like we talked about here, there's a charitable remainder trust. So there's various types of trusts, but each trust has a specific really purpose or goal for that trust. So like with a CRT, with a charitable remainder trust, that is the one type of trust that we offer through the ELCA Foundation that we're equipped and set up with to offer. But the donor is establishing a legal document, a legal entity, and we as the ELCA Foundation are managing that trust, that money, to help them grow it. And then who they've established in that trust, who they've named in that trust is the beneficiary, who is going to benefit from that trust. So like where a charitable gift annuity I mentioned is a contract. It's not a legal entity, it's a contract between the two parties. That's a great question too. Yeah.
I'm not getting any younger, so I just
Yeah.
better start asking.
Yep. That's the only way you learn, right? Is to ask the questions. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you more about legacy giving. Tim does have some of my business cards. If anybody wants one, if you want to reach out to me, again, I've set aside those 2 dates. Feel free to email me or call me if you want to set aside a time to meet one-on-one. I can meet you for a cup of coffee. I can come to your home, whatever is most comfortable for you. So, thanks. Appreciate it.